You've been told your whole life that hard work is the key to success. Work harder, push longer, sacrifice more, and eventually wealth will follow. But look around. There are millions of hardworking people who are still struggling, still stuck, still waiting for that breakthrough that never seems to come. So the real question is not whether hard work matters, it's whether hard work alone is enough. Drawing inspiration from the timeless teachings of Joseph Murphy, this talk challenges the illusion that effort alone creates wealth. Because the truth is simple but powerful. What you believe, what you think, and how you condition your mind matters far more than how many hours you put in. Hard work is often glorified as the ultimate path to success, but there is a quiet truth many people discover only after years of exhaustion. Effort alone does not guarantee wealth. You can wake up early, stay up late, push your limits every single day, and still find yourself in the same financial position, wondering why the results never seem to match the energy you invest. This disconnect creates frustration, and over time it can lead to a deep sense of burnout, where the body is tired, the mind is drained, and motivation begins to fade. The problem is not hard work itself. Effort has value. Discipline has value. Persistence has value. But when hard work is driven without clarity, without direction, and without the right internal framework, it becomes a cycle rather than a ladder. You keep moving, but you do not rise. Many people confuse motion with progress. They believe that staying busy is the same as moving forward, but in reality, they are simply repeating the same patterns that keep them stuck. One of the most overlooked factors in this cycle is mindset. The way a person thinks about money, success, and their own potential shapes the results they experience. If someone believes, even subconsciously, that wealth is difficult to achieve, that money is scarce, or that they are not capable of reaching higher levels of success, those beliefs begin to influence their decisions. They may work hard, but they will choose opportunities that align with limitation rather than growth. They will settle for less, hesitate when it is time to take bold action, and unconsciously avoid the very paths that could lead to financial expansion. This is where the teachings of Joseph Murphy become deeply relevant. He emphasized that the subconscious mind operates as a powerful force that shapes reality based on belief. When a person continuously works hard while holding limiting beliefs, they are essentially pressing the accelerator and the brake at the same time. The effort is there, but the direction is conflicted. The result is exhaustion without meaningful progress. Burnout begins to appear when effort is not matched with purpose. When someone works endlessly without seeing growth, the mind starts questioning the value of that effort. Doubt creeps in, energy declines, even tasks that once felt meaningful begin to feel heavy. This is not simply physical fatigue, it is emotional and psychological depletion. The person feels trapped in a loop where working harder seems like the only option, yet it produces diminishing returns. Another layer to this issue is how society conditions individuals to equate struggle with worth. Many people are taught that if something is not difficult, it is not valuable. This belief leads them to seek out hardship rather than efficiency. They measure their progress by how tired they feel instead of the results they achieve. As a consequence, they ignore smarter approaches, resist delegation, and overlook opportunities that require strategic thinking rather than sheer effort. Hard work without strategy often leads to stagnation. Imagine two individuals putting in the same number of hours every day. One is focused solely on completing tasks, while the other is focused on improving systems, learning new skills, and identifying higher value opportunities. Over time, their results will diverge significantly. The first person remains busy but stuck, while the second begins to grow, not because they work more, but because they think differently about their work. There is also the issue of time being treated as the only currency. Many hard-working individuals tie their income directly to the number of hours they work. This creates a ceiling that cannot be broken through effort alone. No matter how hard they push, there are only so many hours in a day. Without shifting their approach, they remain limited by time, unable to scale their income or create leverage. Burnout intensifies when effort is not rewarded proportionally. When someone gives everything they have but sees little return, the gap between expectation and reality becomes painful. This pain often leads to frustration, and frustration can turn into resentment. They may begin to resent their work, their circumstances, or even themselves. The passion that once fueled their effort starts to fade, replaced by a sense of obligation. Another important factor is the lack of alignment between effort and vision. When people work hard without a clear vision of where they are going, their energy becomes scattered. They chase multiple directions, switch paths frequently, and struggle to build momentum. This lack of focus prevents them from achieving depth in any one area, which is often necessary for significant success. Hard work becomes sustainable only when it is connected to a deeper understanding of value. It is not about how much you do, but about what you do and why you do it. When effort is directed toward high-impact activities, the results begin to compound. When it is directed toward low-value tasks, it drains energy without creating meaningful progress. There is also a psychological trap that comes with constant hard work. It creates an identity around struggle. People begin to see themselves as hard-working individuals, which in itself is not negative, but it can become limiting if they associate their worth with how much they endure rather than what they achieve. This identity makes it difficult to shift towards smarter, more efficient methods because it feels like abandoning the very trait they have relied on for so long. Burnout is not just a result of working too much. It is a result of working without alignment, without growth, and without a sense of control over outcomes. When people feel that no matter how much they do, they cannot change their situation, it leads to a sense of helplessness. This feeling drains motivation more than any amount of physical effort ever could. Another dimension to consider is how hard work is often reactive rather than proactive. Many individuals spend their time responding to immediate demands instead of planning for long-term growth. They're constantly putting out fires, meeting deadlines, and handling urgent tasks, leaving little room for strategic thinking. This reactive mode keeps them busy, but prevents them from stepping back and redesigning their approach. The truth is that wealth is rarely created through effort alone. It is created through a combination of mindset, strategy, opportunity, and action. Hard work plays a role, but it is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. Without the other pieces, it cannot produce the desired outcome. When effort is guided by the right mindset, it becomes more focused and intentional. Decisions are made with clarity. Opportunities are recognized more easily. Risks are evaluated more effectively. This alignment transforms hard work from a draining activity into a powerful tool for growth. It is also important to understand that not all effort is equal. Some actions have a far greater impact than others. Identifying and prioritizing these high-impact actions is what separates those who remain stuck from those who move forward. This requires awareness, reflection, and a willingness to challenge existing patterns. Burnout often signals that something needs to change. It is not just a sign of overwork, it is a signal that the current approach is not sustainable. Ignoring this signal leads to deeper exhaustion, while addressing it opens the door to transformation. When people begin to shift their perspective, they start to see that working harder is not always the answer. Sometimes the answer lies in working differently. It lies in questioning assumptions, redefining goals, and aligning actions with a clearer vision of success. The journey from burnout to growth begins with awareness. Recognizing that effort alone is not enough allows individuals to explore new ways of thinking and acting. It encourages them to step out of the cycle of constant struggle and move toward a more balanced and effective approach. Hard work will always have its place, but it must be supported by the right mindset and direction. Without these elements, it becomes a source of fatigue rather than a path to wealth. When these elements are present, however, effort becomes meaningful, progress becomes visible, and the cycle of burnout begins to break. What most people never realize is that their financial reality is not primarily shaped by what they do on the outside, but by what is programmed on the inside. The visible world of income, opportunities, and success is only a reflection of something deeper, something quieter, and far more powerful. Beneath every action, every decision, and every risk you take lies a set of beliefs that operate automatically, guiding you without your awareness. These beliefs live in the subconscious mind, and they determine how far you go, how much you earn, and what you believe is possible for your life. From an early age, people begin forming ideas about money. They hear conversations at home, observe how others struggle or succeed, and absorb statements like, money is hard to earn, rich people are different, or we can't afford that. These ideas do not simply pass through the mind and disappear. They settle deep within, becoming part of an internal blueprint that shapes behavior over time. Even when someone consciously desires wealth, their subconscious programming may be quietly resisting that desire. This is the hidden conflict that so many people experience. On the surface, they want success. They work hard, set goals, and try to push forward. But underneath, there may be beliefs that say wealth is difficult, that they are not worthy of it, or that achieving it will require sacrifice beyond what they are willing to give. This internal contradiction creates friction. It slows progress, creates hesitation, and leads to patterns that keep them in the same place. The subconscious mind does not argue or analyze in the way the conscious mind does. It accepts repeated thoughts and emotions as truth, and then works to express that truth in reality. This is why repetition is so powerful. When a person repeatedly thinks about lack, worries about money, or focuses on limitations, they reinforce those patterns within the subconscious. Over time, these patterns begin to influence the choices they make. They may avoid opportunities that feel unfamiliar, undervalue their skills, or settle for less than they deserve, all without fully understanding why. The teachings of Joseph Murphy emphasize that the subconscious mind responds to belief with unwavering consistency. It does not distinguish between what is objectively true and what is repeatedly impressed upon it. If someone believes they will always struggle financially, that belief becomes a kind of instruction. The subconscious then aligns thoughts, perceptions, and actions with that instruction, creating a reality that matches the expectation. This is why two individuals with similar skills and opportunities can experience completely different outcomes. One may approach challenges with confidence, seeing possibilities where others see obstacles. The other may hesitate, doubt, and withdraw, even when the path forward is clear. The difference is not in their external circumstances, but in their internal conditioning. Beliefs about money often carry emotional weight. They are not just ideas. They are tied to feelings of security, fear, pride, or even guilt. For some people, the idea of having more money triggers discomfort because they associate wealth with negative traits or past experiences. This emotional layer makes subconscious beliefs even more powerful because emotions reinforce memory and deepen conditioning. The subconscious mind also seeks consistency. It prefers familiar patterns even if those patterns are limiting. When someone tries to step outside of what feels normal, the subconscious may respond with resistance. This resistance can appear as procrastination, self-doubt, or a sudden loss of motivation. It is not a sign of inability. It is a sign that the internal programming is trying to maintain the status quo. Many people attempt to change their financial situation by focusing only on external actions. They work longer hours, take on more responsibilities, and push themselves harder. While these actions can produce short-term results, they often fail to create lasting change if the underlying beliefs remain the same. The person may experience temporary success, but eventually they return to familiar patterns because the subconscious pulls them back to what feels normal. True transformation begins when a person becomes aware of these hidden patterns. Awareness creates a space between stimulus and response, allowing them to question their automatic thoughts. Instead of accepting every belief as truth, they begin to examine where it came from and whether it still serves them. This process can be uncomfortable because it challenges long-held assumptions, but it is also where real change begins. One of the most powerful shifts occurs when a person starts to consciously choose new beliefs. This does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that challenges do not exist. It means redefining how those challenges are interpreted. Instead of seeing obstacles as proof of limitation, they begin to see them as opportunities for growth. Instead of viewing money as scarce, they begin to see it as something that can be created, managed, and expanded through intention and strategy. Reprogramming the subconscious requires consistency. Just as limiting beliefs were formed through repetition, empowering beliefs must also be reinforced over time. This can involve deliberate practices such as visualization, affirmations, and focused attention on positive outcomes. While these practices may seem simple, their impact comes from repetition and emotional engagement. When a thought is repeated with conviction and feeling, it begins to take root in the subconscious. The environment also plays a significant role in shaping beliefs. The people you interact with, the information you consume, and the experiences you expose yourself to all contribute to your internal programming. Surrounding yourself with ideas and individuals that reflect growth and possibility can help reinforce new patterns, making it easier to shift your mindset over time. Another important aspect is the way people interpret their past experiences. Failures, setbacks, and challenges can either reinforce limiting beliefs or become sources of learning. When someone views failure as evidence of inadequacy, it strengthens negative patterns. When they view it as feedback, it becomes a tool for growth. This shift in interpretation can gradually reshape the subconscious, turning past experiences into stepping stones rather than barriers. The subconscious mind also influences how opportunities are perceived. When someone believes that opportunities are rare or reserved for others, they may overlook possibilities that are right in front of them. Their focus becomes narrow, filtering out anything that does not align with their existing beliefs. On the other hand, when they believe that opportunities are abundant, they become more attentive, more curious, and more willing to explore new paths. Confidence is another outcome of subconscious programming. It is not simply a trait that some people are born with. It is a result of repeated experiences and beliefs. When someone consistently reinforces the idea that they are capable and deserving of success, their confidence grows naturally. This confidence then influences their actions, making them more likely to take risks, pursue opportunities, and persist in the face of challenges. The relationship between subconscious beliefs and financial reality is not always immediate or obvious. Changes in mindset may take time to reflect in external results. This delay can be discouraging for those who expect instant outcomes. However, understanding that the process is gradual helps maintain patience and consistency. Each new belief, each intentional thought, contributes to a larger shift that eventually manifests in tangible ways. Another subtle but powerful factor is self-image. The way a person sees themselves determines what they believe they deserve. If their self-image is limited, they may unconsciously reject opportunities that exceed their current identity. Expanding self-image involves recognizing one's potential and gradually aligning actions with a higher standard. This alignment reinforces new beliefs, creating a cycle of growth. Language also plays a role in shaping the subconscious. The words people use when they talk about money, success, and themselves influence their internal narrative. Phrases like, "I can't afford it," or "I'm not good with money," reinforce limitation. Replacing them with more empowering language begins to shift perception, opening the door to new possibilities. The subconscious mind operates continuously, processing information and influencing behavior even when a person is not consciously aware of it. This constant activity makes it a powerful ally when properly aligned, but a significant obstacle when filled with limiting beliefs. Learning to work with it rather than against it is one of the most important steps in creating lasting financial change. As beliefs begin to shift, behavior naturally follows. Decisions become more aligned with growth. Risks are approached with greater confidence. Opportunities are recognized and acted upon more quickly. These changes may seem subtle at first, but over time they compound, leading to significant differences in outcomes. The process of transforming subconscious beliefs is not about perfection. It is about progress. There will be moments of doubt, periods of resistance, and challenges along the way. What matters is the willingness to continue, to remain consistent, and to trust that each step forward contributes to a larger transformation. Understanding that your financial reality is rooted in your subconscious beliefs changes the way you approach success. It shifts the focus from external effort alone to internal alignment. It reveals that true wealth is not just built through action, but through the thoughts and beliefs that guide those actions. There is a quiet but powerful shift that separates those who remain trapped in cycles of effort from those who begin to experience real financial growth. It is not that one group works harder than the other. It is that one group learns to think differently. They begin to understand that effort alone is not the highest value currency in the pursuit of wealth. Thought, perception, and internal alignment carry a far greater influence over outcomes than most people are ever taught to recognize. For many individuals, hard work becomes the default solution to every problem. When progress slows, they respond by increasing effort. When income feels limited, they try to put in more hours. When opportunities seem scarce, they double down on the same routines, hoping that persistence alone will eventually produce a breakthrough. This approach feels logical because effort is visible and measurable. It creates the illusion of control. But beneath that illusion, something more subtle is at play. The quality of your thinking determines the direction of your actions. If your thoughts are rooted in limitation, your actions will reflect that limitation, no matter how intense your effort may be. You may work tirelessly, but you will gravitate toward paths that feel safe, familiar, and constrained. You may avoid opportunities that require a shift in identity or perspective. You may hesitate at critical moments, allowing chances for growth to pass quietly by. Smart thinking begins with awareness. It requires stepping back from automatic patterns and examining the assumptions that guide your decisions. Many of these assumptions operate unnoticed. They are accepted as facts rather than recognized as beliefs. Questioning them opens the door to new possibilities. It allows you to see that what you once considered fixed may actually be flexible. One of the most important aspects of smart thinking is the ability to focus on value rather than effort. Not all actions produce equal results. Some activities create momentum, open doors, and lead to exponential growth, while others consume time without moving you forward. Identifying high-impact actions requires clarity and intentionality. It involves asking not just what should I do, but what will create the greatest result for the energy I invest. This shift in focus changes the way time is used. Instead of filling every hour with activity, you begin to prioritize actions that matter most. You become more selective, more deliberate, and more strategic. This does not mean working less. It means working with greater precision. It means understanding that a single well-directed action can produce more value than hours of unfocused effort. Inner alignment plays an equally critical role. When your thoughts, beliefs, and actions are aligned, there is a sense of flow that replaces resistance. Decisions feel clearer. Effort feels more purposeful. Progress becomes more consistent. Misalignment, on the other hand, creates friction. It leads to hesitation, second-guessing, and a constant feeling of pushing against something unseen. The teachings of Joseph Murphy highlight the importance of aligning conscious intention with subconscious belief. When there is harmony between what you consciously desire and what you subconsciously accept as possible, your actions gain power. You move forward with confidence, not because you are certain of every outcome, but because you trust the direction you are taking. Opportunities often appear in subtle ways. They rarely arrive fully formed or clearly labeled. Recognizing them requires a mindset that is open, curious, and willing to explore. When your thinking is limited, you may overlook these opportunities entirely. When your thinking expands, you begin to notice patterns, connections, and possibilities that were previously invisible. Smart thinking also involves understanding leverage. Wealth is rarely created by trading time for money alone. It is created by finding ways to multiply the impact of your efforts. This can take many forms, such as developing skills that increase your value, building systems that operate independently of your time, or creating assets that generate income over time. Each of these approaches requires a shift in perspective, moving away from immediate effort toward long-term strategy. Another important element is adaptability. The world changes constantly, and rigid thinking can quickly become a limitation. Those who succeed are often those who can adjust their approach, learn from new information, and remain flexible in the face of uncertainty. This adaptability is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of awareness. It reflects an understanding that growth requires evolution. Inner alignment also influences how challenges are perceived. When your mindset is aligned with growth, obstacles are seen as part of the process rather than as barriers. They become opportunities to learn, refine, and improve. This perspective reduces fear and increases resilience, allowing you to move forward even when the path is not clear. Confidence emerges naturally from this alignment. It is not forced or artificially created. It develops as a result of consistent thinking and action that reinforce your sense of capability. Each decision made with clarity strengthens your belief in your ability to navigate complexity. This confidence then feeds back into your thinking, creating a positive cycle of growth. Smart thinking requires a willingness to let go of outdated beliefs. This can be challenging, especially when those beliefs have been reinforced over many years. They may feel comfortable even when they are limiting. Releasing them involves stepping into uncertainty, embracing new perspectives, and trusting that growth lies beyond familiar patterns. The environment you choose also plays a significant role in shaping your thinking. Surrounding yourself with individuals who challenge your assumptions, share valuable insights, and demonstrate different ways of approaching problems can accelerate your growth. Exposure to new ideas expands your perspective, making it easier to adopt more effective strategies. Clarity of vision is another essential component. Without a clear sense of direction, even the smartest thinking can become scattered. A well-defined vision provides a framework for decision-making. It helps you evaluate opportunities, prioritize actions, and maintain focus over time. This clarity reduces wasted effort and increases the likelihood of meaningful progress. Smart thinking is not about avoiding hard work. It is about ensuring that hard work is applied in the right places. It is about recognizing that effort is most powerful when it is guided by insight and intention. This combination transforms work from a draining necessity into a purposeful activity that contributes to long-term growth. Another subtle shift occurs when you begin to measure progress differently. Instead of focusing solely on immediate results, you start to value learning, skill development, and strategic positioning. These elements may not produce instant rewards, but they create a foundation for future success. This long-term perspective reduces the pressure for immediate outcomes and allows for more thoughtful decision-making. Inner alignment also enhances creativity. When your mind is not consumed by doubt or conflict, it becomes more open to new ideas. Solutions emerge more easily. Connections between seemingly unrelated concepts become clearer. This creativity can lead to innovative approaches that set you apart and create unique opportunities. Patience becomes an important ally in this process. Smart thinking recognizes that meaningful growth takes time. It values consistency over intensity, understanding that small, well-directed actions can compound into significant results. This patience reduces the urge to rush or force outcomes, allowing progress to unfold more naturally. The relationship between thought and action becomes more intentional. Instead of reacting impulsively, you begin to respond thoughtfully. Each action is considered in the context of your larger goals. This intentionality increases efficiency and reduces the likelihood of wasted effort. As your thinking evolves, your perception of risk also changes. You become more comfortable with uncertainty, recognizing that growth often requires stepping into the unknown. This does not mean taking reckless risks, but rather making informed decisions with a clear understanding of potential outcomes. This balanced approach allows you to pursue opportunities with confidence while managing potential downsides. Smart thinking also involves continuous learning. The willingness to acquire new knowledge, develop new skills, and refine your approach is essential for long-term success. This learning is not limited to formal education. It includes observation, reflection, and practical experience. Each new insight adds to your ability to navigate complexity and create value. Inner alignment ensures that your actions remain consistent with your values and goals. This consistency builds trust, both within yourself and with others. It creates a sense of integrity that strengthens relationships and enhances your reputation. These factors, while often overlooked, play a significant role in creating opportunities and sustaining success. The shift from hard work alone to smart thinking and inner alignment is not immediate. It requires awareness, practice, and a willingness to change. There may be moments of uncertainty, periods of adjustment, and challenges along the way. Each step forward, however, brings greater clarity and effectiveness. As this shift takes place, effort begins to feel different. It becomes more focused, more purposeful, and more rewarding. Progress becomes more visible, not because you are working more, but because you are working in alignment with a deeper understanding of how results are created. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to appear more attainable, not through chance, but through a deliberate transformation in the way you think and act.